Hello and welcome to White Horse Music TV. My name is Richard Bodina and I'm co-owner of this shop with my lovely wife Michelle Bodina, who is not here currently. Today I'm going to give you an idea about sizing up violins for humans of all shapes and sizes. So often when people come into our shop, with a child human, they come in and they will say the teacher has asked you to size them up, or maybe the teacher has said get a particular size. If they ask us to size them up, one way that we size people up is to get them to put the violin up on the shoulder. We'll make sure they're holding it properly so it is up on their shoulder and not sort of pushing back in an unusual way. And then we get them to reach out their arm, wrap their fingers around the end. And lots of shops, when they're doing this size arming or they're doing this arm sizing, they will say, okay, if you can reach your fingers out and wrap them around the scroll at the end there and have a straight arm, as long as you can do that, then that's about the right size. But you will notice with this full-size violin, and I'm sort of a full-size person, I'm like 5'7", not huge, but when I reach out my arm there, this full-size violin is nowhere near close to the size that you would be sizing up for a small child relatively. So when I hold it normally, and I've got my arm around there, I've got a huge bend in my arm. So we are sizing up generally children with violins that are relatively much bigger than this full-size one is for me, which would be very uncomfortable, especially for someone starting out. I have down here a 17-inch viola. There it is. It's massive. All right, so this 17-inch viola, I'll show you. When I plonk that up on my shoulder and I size myself with this, it's perfect as far as the way people will size children up for little violins. So we are in effect sizing kids up, beginners who aren't used to holding the instrument up on their shoulder for a long time, with instruments that are equivalent to me using a 17-inch viola, which is just ridiculous. If I was to play viola, I'd probably play 15.5 or something like that. I'm not huge. My dad didn't pass down his tall genes to me. Very rude. Anyway, so that is a complaint that I have. So I would suggest that if you are doing this arm length sizing thing, that you would size them with a little bit of a bend in your arm. It doesn't have to be this sort of 90-degree bend almost 90-degree bend that I have going on there. But, a little bit of a bend in the arm at least, just so they've got a chance of enjoying themselves, because it is tough to get a posture that makes you comfortable when you're using a giant instrument. Also, there is a teacher in Melbourne who's very prolific, and he came in one day and he said to me, look, I don't like the way you're sizing violins. You should be sizing them not based on the arm length of the humans that I send in to you, but on the shoulder width and the stature of the body, because he wants the students to feel as comfortable as possible with the instrument. And how comfortable you're feeling doesn't really have that much to do with your arm. Obviously, the finger stretching and how far your arm is reaching out is going to be determined by how long your arm is. But your ability to hold it under your chin and on your shoulder is more to do with the breadth, the width of your shoulders and how much padding you've got down here and that sort of thing. And it's true, you get, like I sometimes see students who'll come in who'll be very, very thin with long Mr. Tickle arms. And those students, if you do the arm length thing, they have arms that are like 6 meters long, and you put a cello on their shoulder pretty much, and they can't hold it up because, it's slipping off the edge, and they and there's so much weight that's sort of, bearing them down. And it's a really good point. So I think, for me, I use a little bit of compromise in that way. If I see that, the arm length is just about right, but then they're really struggling because the shoulder just doesn't have that stature, then maybe the size below, getting closer to the way I hold a full-size violin, might be appropriate. And then, at least they'll be comfortable. We're trying to get students to practice for as long as they can, as long as they're happy to. And, if you've got something massive on their shoulder, then that's going to make it really, really difficult. So they are some things to think about as far as sizing goes. And the other thing is, every teacher has different ideas about sizing. Mine is one opinion. Some teachers want the students to be on much bigger instruments earlier, so they have a bigger, fuller, stronger sound and they enjoy that sound more. Other teachers are all about the comfort, more towards my direction of things, where they think they want the student to be as comfortable as possible so that they're enjoying their practice more in that way. There's no right answer. If a teacher has sent a student in and they've said, you need to have a cello on your shoulder, who am I to question that teacher? I'm not going to question. But, if someone's come in to have me size them, I will size them up a certain way, and that student will take that violin off to the teacher, and it's not uncommon for the teacher to send them back and say, Richard has sized them in a ridiculous size. They should be 2 sizes bigger or 2 sizes smaller. Mine is just one opinion. Thanks for watching.